Alright, this is going to be a short video, just some practice problems for the College Algebra Unit 7 test. And I'm not going to have that many problems for you. These practice problem videos are typically problems modeled after the more difficult items from the test. And this test is really pretty procedural. We got 4 different things that we're asking you to do. We're asking you to kind of simplify, do arithmetic with fractions. We're asking you to solve equations, solve inequalities, and we're also asking you to divide polynomials using long and synthetic division. All right, the first one I've got for you is 3x to the third minus 3 divided by x minus 4. Okay, this has got an x minus a number, so that's set up for synthetic division. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the coefficients. Okay, 3x to the third, I'm not seeing any x squareds or x's, but I am seeing negative 3. Okay, I'm going to go in here. Dividing by x minus 4 means I'm going to put a positive 4 into the box. Okay, drop this down. 3 times 4 is 12. Add, multiply, add, multiply. Let's see, that's going to be 160 plus 32 is 192. 192 minus 3 is 189. And remember, you would have a calculator for this. You'd be using your scientific calculator if this were the actual item you were seeing on the test. And then we would say that the answer is, okay, I like to start with the remainder term. Okay, that's 189 over x minus 4. Remember, the remainder goes over the divisor. Okay, that's getting added to 48. Just getting added to 12x, which is getting added to 3x squared. Okay, that's how we do it. All right, the next thing I've got for you is just, a simple enough looking simplified question. But it's kind of going to happen in a way that we didn't see it happen over the course of this unit. Okay, so I've got this 3x and this 5, both over x plus 5. Okay, so I know I can add them because they have a common denominator. So this is going to become, excuse me, that was supposed to be a 15, otherwise this problem didn't work. This becomes 3x plus 15 over x plus 5. But then I see, okay, I can factor this thing. This is 3 times x plus 5 divided by x plus 5. And then these x plus 5s common to top and bottom. This is really 3 multiplied by 1, provided that x is not negative 5. But this is equal to 3 for every x except for x equals negative 5. So we would choose that answer choice of 3. But you kind of look at those two fractions, you add them together, how's that going to equal 3? Well, that's how. Okay, now I've got a, kind of a geometry question. The area of a rectangle is given by area equals x to the third minus 10x squared plus 40x minus 15. Its base is x plus 2. Find its height. Well, we know that for a rectangle, area is equal to base times height. So I could say that the height is equal to the area divided by the base. Okay, so I'm going to take this x to the third minus 10x squared plus 40x minus 15 and divide it by x plus 2. So I'm going to copy down the coefficients. And I'm going to divide by x plus 2 by plugging in negative 2, running through synthetic division. 1, drop it down, multiply, add. Adding again, that's 64, negative 128. I clearly didn't make this work right. Negative 128 minus 15 more is going to be negative 138, negative 143. All right, so the quotient is negative 143 over x plus 2. Okay, then I've got 64. And rather than plus and negative, I'm just going to call it minus. Okay, 64 is getting added to this negative 12x, and then I've got 1x squared. Okay, so that is the height. Okay, here we've got an equation that looks like it's going to be pretty easy to solve. Okay, I'm going to kind of multiply both sides by x minus 2 to kind of disregard the denominator. So I've got 5x is equal to 3x plus 4, and then I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I've got 2x equals 4, and that would lead me to believe that x equals 2, except for the fact that that's going to not be true because of this. Okay, so what you want to do when you solve these equations, you go back and you just check, just to make sure it's not going to cause you to divide by 0. Okay, if you put in x equals 2, you're going to have 5 times 2 is 10, divided by 2 minus 2 is 0, equaling 3 times 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10, divided by 0. And, okay, you might be sitting there thinking, well, those numbers look the same. But remember, equals is a relationship that only two real numbers can have, or two numbers of the same type. But you can't have something that's not a number equal to something. It's just not how equals works. For now, in this class, equals we know is a relationship between two real numbers. And maybe it could be a relationship between two complex numbers in the second semester. So the last one I've got for you kind of doesn't make that much sense as a free response question. It makes the most sense as a multiple choice question when it says which of these is the reciprocal of 10x plus 2 over y. But I'm just going to show you the strategy. All right. Yes, you could just go ahead and say, okay, a reciprocal for that is just put 1 over it. Okay, 1 over 10x plus 2 over y. Like, yes, okay, that works. Okay, that is not going to be one of your answer choices on the test. So instead, what you're going to do is get a common denominator. Okay, so a common denominator of y. So this will become 10x times y divided by y. It's the same as 10x, just multiplied by 1. Plus 2 over y. And is equal to 10xy plus 2 divided by y. Now, the reciprocal is where we're going to flip the fraction. So this is y over 10xy plus 2. And that's how you solve that problem. And since you've watched all the way through to the end of this video, I figured I might as well just kind of tell you a little bit about what's going to be on the test. Okay, just to remind you what was in the unit, okay, there was the first day we simplified rational expressions, which meant we added, subtracted, multiplied, divided algebraic fractions. Okay, the second day we did long division and polynomial long division and synthetic division. Okay, on the third day we solved equations, oftentimes by cross multiplying, but sometimes by finding a common denominator, basically solving equations that involved algebraic fractions. And then the fourth day, we solved inequalities. There are 32 multiple choice questions and 2 free response questions. Be sure, people always ask what's the best way to study for the test, and I think in general this is true, but for this test in particular, it's going to be go back and look at the quizzes. This stuff is pretty procedural. There's not a whole lot of analysis or interpretation or really creative problems. It's really just can you do these concrete operations on the fractions? And if you can, you're going to have success. So, look at the quizzes, look at their keys, go back, print out an extra copy. That's going to be the best